Morning, morning. All right, I'm set up. Almost set up anyway. Um, Got to move some things around here. I'm actually trying something new today. I thought it'd be kind of fun. So, I am going to do a thumbnail live. Not a big deal, but I got a new tablet, and what the hey. Mark it as a business expense, and the easiest way to do that is to actually use the goddamn thing for work. So I'm still new to it, which is kind of interesting. Where is the chat? There you guys are. Let me add your guys' chat in here. This is not the normal kind of video I do on this channel, but I thought it'd be kind of interesting to use anyway. So let's go to recent. And I'll show you, generally speaking, how we do a thumbnail. All right. As you can see, we got the nice little tablet here running around. It's always kind of fun. Where is chat? So I can see what you guys are saying. And I'll let you in a little bit, see the secret sauce. Yeah. Okay, so if you guys don't know, I have a Herion, they call it the, what the hell is it? Canvas 13, Canvas with a K, which is kind of interesting. And I got the new tripod here, which is a little bit lower place than usual, which is probably why I got the really bad framing right now. No. Eesh. Yeah, we're gonna have to fix this up. Whole bunch of new equipment, a bunch of new toys, and here I am mucking it up while on live stream with you guys. What can I say? You come for the best, and I'll come and bring you the second best. There we go. This camera here, it's something called, what the hell do they call it? Hold on a sec. Mocos, I think it is. So what it does is it has the same sensor that Rollo's camera does, actually, the Sony A600. But it runs it on a tiny webcam. It thing's like smaller than a GoPro. And I like it because it's just a webcam. They're like, let's just put a DSLR thing and a giant frame on it. It's like very lean and mean, so I like it. Anyways, back to this thing. So we got this. Then I was thinking, so you kind of want to use this and the mouse together. Yeah, Super 35. Yeah, it's nice. I like it. It means you have to set up like everything I want to set up for how it looks. I have to do it in post within OBS, but I mean, that's fine. Between OBS and DaVinci, I should be able to do it. So if you guys don't know, on my channel, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 12, I do a live stream. Usually it's Minecraft, sometimes it's Tekken, other times there'll be other games that I found around the way, maybe kind of neat. And the idea there is we could just talk some Red Pill stuff. We keep it pretty casual, pretty chill, and everybody just does their thing, right? All right, first off, let me just clear my workspace for a bit. Now, on all those ones, I try to make individual... Why am I not getting... Okay, I got to do some tablet settings here. Anyways, I try to make individual thumbnails for them. I figure it's kind of a neat little thing. But, let me see. Digital pen. Give me the fucking pressure, man. Now, why is it not giving me the... No, it's giving me pressure. It's just not doing it on the screen here. Oh, I bet you it's because, yeah. So I'm going to teach you guys this other program here. This one's called Inkscape. Yeah, so it works. Oh, that's why I haven't had to... Okay, so there's a lot of customization you have to do to get everything running. And I have it on my laptop, but I haven't set it up here yet, so... I'll run that through here. Let me add it. Is it window capture? Yes. Call it a test. And we're going to add the DigiPen. There we go. This is going to be the most boring chat ever, but whatever, you'll like it. So you got your general pressure testing here. Make sure it works. You can adjust the sensitivity. I don't need it too much, though. You have the two keys that you want to set up. B and C. In this case, they're supposed to be set to kilographic brushes and Bezier curves. Seems pretty easy. Then here's the tablet. I got my undo. Whole bunch of different options here. It's kind of nice. Question is, why aren't... It's not registering clicks, which I find very weird, because the mouse will do it, but the tablet won't. Let's try something here. Ideally, this was supposed to be a neat thing where I could talk about art, but it turns like it's mostly talking about dealing with technical issues. All right, this might end up being like a waste of time that doesn't work out. We will find out soon enough. Yeah, you get the giraffe roll if you're new. Oh, yeah, that's right. Dante's running the Discord on the thing, so it's kind of neat. Like I said, it's just... Oh, there we go. And my question is... Why am I not detecting mouse pushes? Oh, that's why. So Inkscape's kind of an interesting program. It's, if you guys don't know, it's similar to Adobe Illustrator, if you've ever used. Okay. Control 1. Give me the 1-to-1. Jesus. I just want to center. Center page. Give me the brush. Why aren't you drawing at all? Fuck around. Yeah, did you guys see that, by the way? Lauren Southern's doing... She's trying to come into the sphere. Interesting. Not sure what to think of that. Does anybody not know who she is, by the way, before I keep going here? Hey, come on, give me the tablet. God, I'm having graphics issues and everything. Yeah, the magic of technology. You know what's crazy? This thing was working perfectly until... Yeah, it's doing here. Monitor calibration. Calibrate, calibrate, calibrate. Very strange issue. All right, well, whatever. We'll just use the mouse for this one. An attempt was made. So first thing you got to do when you're making a thumbnail is you want... Do you want to go just full image? Do you want to go logo? Do you want to go word mark? In my case, I've done a combination of both. Word mark. Now, the difference between a logo and a word mark is text. A logo is image. Now, a word mark can be a logo, but a logo can't be a word mark. And the idea for that is when you want to draw somebody into your videos, what is it you want to appeal to? Sometimes it's the content of the video, and sometimes it's the brand. In my case, it's the brand. Obviously, there's 500 million Minecraft channels, and there's only so many things you can do with it, or Tekken, or whatever. So my signature, which is my general word mark, is the part that I go with. It's the most recognizable part, right? There's that, and then there's the pill thing I do, which, let me pull that one up. We got here, E, branding. You guys may recognize this as well. Man, I'm really kind of annoyed this thing doesn't recognize pushes. Very annoyed. You have maybe a fifth of a second to attract somebody to your thing. So ideally, somebody who likes this content already is probably going to click this. Somebody who's never heard of the channel so far probably won't. So that's something you got to trade up here. Now, obviously, you can switch it up, have like a nice little colorful thumbnail there to make it something extremely interesting to look at. That's the other way you can go about it. God damn it. I got to get that other thing out of the way. All right, get you out of the way. Work back home is heard in the studio often. Oh, I 100% agree. Okay. So in my case, then you got to make your typographic choices. In this case, I went with a font called Evanier Light Standard. I like it. It's clean. It's sans serif. It signifies like it's a modern. All sans serif fonts. That's the ones that miss the. I guess I don't have a serif one on here. So for example, a serif font is something like, oh, I don't know. We'll just use that. It'll be Garamond. These little pieces at the end of letters, that's a serif. So this is sans serif, which is French for not serif, without serif. Generally speaking, serif fonts look, they're easier to read if you have large amounts of text like books. They are older looking, and they tend to be like more easy way to describe it. So when you have fonts, let me show you something here. I like how we're doing, like, we've turned this into a graphic design lesson here. Lorem ipsum. So this is something called lorem ipsum, which is like standard, just random text. Doesn't really mean anything, but it's there. So that way you can see something really interesting about typeface. I'll switch you down to 14 or 13. Oh, for crying out loud. 13. I should just make it 14. Standard, random text, doesn't mean anything. In fact, it's not supposed to mean anything. The idea is you're not supposed to read it. But what you're going to do is see how text looks. And when people say they want to make things more or less readable, this is what they do. Take this piece of text, of which it's still like English letters and that. You don't understand what it means. Doesn't mean anything. But you'll see some, let me move it back to where it's more visible. A couple things you can learn from this. What is this red bar in the way? Get out of there. There we go. So when you change certain things about it, let's say you just make it normal. You see how it has kind of like a pattern to it? We'll do some comparisons here. Bold. Especially when you're looking at it from your distance, you can see one has more of a gray look to it and the other one is black. So it turns out text actually has a color. Another trick you can do is take your text, flip it upside down. And then you can't actually see the text, you just see the shape. So in this case, what you're seeing is almost the equivalent of a black box. Oops. And this one, more of a gray box. So then you can start thinking of them as design elements. It's also going to change if you use, we'll use, let's just pick a Ryle, whatever. Or where is it? Evanier. No, take it. Come on. There we go. So you see right there, automatically when I switch to a sans serif font, the stuff spacing is different because the way the letters are spaced, but it also changes the colors. Looks a little darker. And that's something to keep in mind. Now, this is a big text option. But you see what I mean? So taking all that together, what does this look like? Well, this will look like, on a composition, light pink in a box. Oops. We're going to move you out of the way now and have a thumbnail composition. You want to add a word mark to an additional piece to that? I'm putting the signature down below. I'm like, okay, so what you can either, oh, for crying out loud, turn off the tablet. We can have it switch to something that's contrasting to it or that's complementary to it. So in this case, we have something that's just like a darker color. It'll look like, generally speaking, darker piece like that. If we want to, we can go something the opposite, which in this case I think would be a teal, which looks a lot better, which is probably what I'll end up going with. Again, if you contrast it up, then you have elements. So that gives you something to work with. Now, why am I talking about elements in that? In this case, I might also add something like there. So if I have these two colors, and if you want to look at a color wheel, you can kind of, like, you'll know what the color theory is. So if you're looking at two opposites, and then you pick something complementary to both of them, which is probably something on the bluer, oops, it's probably something on the bluer side. Oh, I got the stupid thing set up on it. Whatever. We'll leave it with red for now. It's fine. Let's add a thumbnail to it. Now, I have some pre-rendered stuff, some pre-thumbnails I've got. Some of them I've done some, like, color grading to. Other ones are just raw. We'll pick a raw one. Now, in this case, we got a dark. If you notice, if you just zoom back at it, what do you have? You basically have a box that is gradient from black to green. Interesting, huh? I'd say. Top part is black. Oops. Bottom part is green. It's actually closer to this. So when you put it all together, you get composition elements. Now here's the thing. That right there is boring. When you break it down to its composite elements, you realize, like, why am I looking at this? What is there to look at? No reason. So what you want to do here is what's called focal points. In this case, you're going to follow, how does the eye follow this thing? And in this case, it's going to be, for a Western audience, you're generally going to read in Z patterns. That's how you follow things. So in this case, God, I want something thicker. Give me a marker. Yeah, whatever. There we go. So in this case, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to read the text like that, and then just gloss over the rest. Ends up with a huge amount of space here that's completely dead, of no use whatsoever. So what can we do about that? Well, we change the focal points. Let's say in this case, I want to give something a little bit different. Because you want to have, is it creating alpha? It's just art, man. You're going to be looking at this in a background of probably 30 or 40 or 50 different images. In fact, let me just go randomly over to YouTube and see what we pull up. I'm just going to do like Minecraft, whatever. I'm going to take a screenshot, send it to you guys. Do I have to view it this way? Can't you change the views on these things? I thought you were able to change it to a grid. I guess not. All right, either way. Now, graphic designers swear that YouTube thumbnails are the worst graphic design in the world. Here's a random sampling of them. So when you're doing a thumbnail, it's something you got to think about. Yeah, there's no mistake. It's a happy accident. So this is what everybody else's stuff is going to look like. Let's get these out of here. But you see, though, like, where's the focal points on it? Really nowhere. Just like, look at the center. Look at the center. Read text. In this case, you're going to have left to right. Very basic. Just look at the center. Left to right. They do some other things with psychology where you actually prefer looking at eyes, like people's faces, as opposed to other things. So most likely out of these thumbnails, either younger audience are going to be drawn to the brighter colors because it turns out our eyes get worse as we age. Adults are probably going to look at this, see a face, and actually click on it, right? So how do we compete with these kind of things? Well, an easy way to do it is change the focal points. Center, left to right, left to right, left to right, center. So everything that's not a simple focal point of that, or a simple focal point of that, will stand out. But it has to be more interesting than the ones that are around it, right? So let's do a simple Z, but a proper Z, like so. How do we do that? Well, we need something that stands out. I mean, there's no limit to the ways you can do this. So in my case, what would you want to do? Well, we can just do some simple things. I don't know. Let's try tracing it out as if to draw attention to this. Like, do you know when you're working with highlighting things? Let's set up our stroke. Maybe like that. It's one option. Obviously not the greatest example. I could probably do better if I took more time. But if you add that to it, you add another focal point. Now, if you make this more interesting, like make it like the pop out thing, right? How can you pop it out? I don't know. Change it to a gradient, change how it renders as opposed to just like a normal. Maybe you, where is glowing? Color dodging. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. The idea then is you're changing it from just a simple left to right text thing to that. Well, technically not yet. You're changing it to that. I don't know. I think we can do better. So let's start adding some stuff down here. It just so happens I've already thought of this. Me drinking coffee going live. It's going to do two things. One, it's an extra focal point here. In this case, it's going to be, you know, a black square. So now you have these three elements here, and they're all going to interplay off each other. Ideally, you want it to go like this, to like this, to like this. Something different stands out. Maybe it's going to end up like this, and you're going to totally miss out on this. You never know. So let's play around. And this is going to be the thumbnail I'm going to do for you guys. We're going to head over to the channel in like about 10-15 minutes. Do a soy face. You guys, son of a bitch. Oops. So to play around with these elements, let's try... what do we have to work with here? Why don't we try something a bit more on the nose? Literally a swoop. You may be asking yourself, does all this stuff matter? To which I would say, maybe. But I went to university for years for this, so you guys are going to sit here and suffer through it. So in this case, you got something like so. We can also add something down here for a little bit of pizzazz afterwards, so it kind of almost just follows a curve. With a secondary one there, why not? Let's do the standard YouTube thing. You know the one where they add a circle there and a question mark? Yikes. So much harder with the mouse. Let's just do one of those. Let's do that proper. So we'll just do a circle and a question mark. Now you could go into this as much detail as you wanted. This is just some basic bitch stuff. I could easily do it where it has to represent the content, how scripted you're going to be, how raw is it going to be, and this kind of all like changes over time, right? So let's make this big, pop it. And let's go with red. what does Rolo say? Big red tits. Everything you got to do, either big or red or tits. So let's make it some big red tits. So that there. So what do we end up with? People are going to follow it two ways. Either like this or like that. Works out. It's something more interesting anyway, right? So let's go with that. So let's put the actual elements in there. Pop it together. See how it looks. Press this a slut touch. Come on. By the way, this may be just for the second channel one, but on the main channel, this is exactly how it works too. I can pull up an example after this. And just to be somewhat weird, whatever. We'll just use the standard black one we had before. What the hell is that? What? And then, I don't know, we'll use this one. I have two. There's one where I'm sitting in a tub and one where I'm drinking a coffee. We'll do, actually, you know what? Let's do the tub one. The other one's a little too dark for this. Again, just a little thing to let you know it's a live stream and not a normal one. It conveys a little bit of information, why not? We'll stick with that pink color because it's been working for us so far. So what is that? Like so. Good enough, right? Well, maybe not. Let's switch up these colors just a touch. It's weird. Why am I giving me all weird? There we go. And let's brighten you up a bit too. Like so. It's a bit chaotic with the coloring. But whatever. Actually, you know what? Let's just at least get some consistency going here. There. That's going to be the thumbnail. After this, we're going to go to a... We'll go set up the other live stream. Just arrive what program. So this program is Inkscape. It's basically Adobe Illustrator, but without that stupid annual license shit they're doing here. Adobe Illustrator. The tablet is going to be a Hurion Canvas 13. Absolutely wonderful thing here. It's actually fairly big for a tablet. I'm kind of impressed. I didn't realize the drawing tablets were this large. Let me get this out of the way so I don't mush it. But it's good. I haven't done art in so long. Like having a drawing tablet again just kind of takes me back. You can go away for now. Something else I'll show you guys. This is going to be fun. Where is it? Was it coffee? Oh, yeah. All right. So here, we're going to put up the other one. And then we'll leave. Where is it? Inkscape coffee. There she is. So we'll do this again with a red pill coffee one. So you can see that's how the other one went out there. I don't know, man. This one makes me laugh. It's the same thing, but you're just breaking down. So for red pilled coffee, I have obviously the word mark. I have the focal direction, which is that is going to be the first thing you see, then that, and then that. So it's left to right in like an upwards curve. Text down here, it's going to make the thing completely cluttered and chaotic, but that was kind of the thing. Yeah, 10-click template, so good. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. What do they say? Big red tits, right? And there's something I will tell you too. Yeah, I'm sure you see a lot of YouTube channels do this where they put like that really colorful border around people. The reason they do that is because proper masking is hard. Like separating foreground from background. Like this original picture is me at a gym. This one's got a whole bunch of shit in the background. So the easy thing to do is just quick and dry mask it out and then put a border like this around it. It makes it look much cleaner. And I'm like, that's fucking clever. It'll hide all your little mistakes. Same thing with the rich one there. You see? The whole point. Bam. So sometimes even working within the system that you got is a good thing. So I was like thinking, do I put early frame announcement in there? At that point, it was so cluttered. Whatever. But it kind of reminded me of those old montage things like Rat Race or Cannonball Run, where the image itself is like a Where's Waldo. So I kind of like that. Yeah. In this case, again, so this is just Helvetica. If you guys don't know, Helvetica, when it comes to like sans serif fonts, that's the vanilla pudding. Everybody, like, you'll never go wrong using Helvetica. Now, the thing I liked about it too is it has a joined double F. There's a couple character sets that do that. There's like AE, FF, I think FL. Oh, geez, I can't remember some of the other ones. Anyways, but they kind of have like special rules with how they combine, and that's just for a composition thing. That's how font designers actually work this shit. But I liked it because then I get to put the red pilled thing in here, which is good because, as you guys know, I can't stand the manosphere. So I kind of make the red pilled part is small. So it's not the super most important thing. I mean, it is, but I don't want to draw attention to it as a brand. I want it to just be the coffee. And the idea was you're sitting down with a buddy having a coffee talking about this shit. That was the whole reason it was called Red Pilled Coffee. That, and it was very easy to film like making a coffee and use that for B-roll, right? No, I'm not BSing you guys. This is exactly how I think about this stuff and how I was trained to think about this stuff. So we got the word mark. I picked a very simple, easy font. I could pick something more unique, but the problem is that the more you stray from like vanilla with your text choices, the more it'll take away from your composition. So I think this is a nice trade-off between that. The reason this O is dark, by the way, I'll show you later. So then how do I want to do a background? And I always like some kind of visual. Sometimes I like the skyline. The idea is you're hanging out at home. In this one, it was a reaction video to Rich's one, so I put Rich in the background. And then you want something like, what is this video about? Again, like Rolo says, big red tits. And I know people are going to start looking here. And any image, top left, except for Asian and Middle Eastern audiences. So Mish probably doesn't see this one. I just use MS Paint. So I went looking for images. Ideally, I want an image of the girl. Now I wanted to express like averagely attractive girl, nothing supermodel-like. To show guys like, look, it's just because like it's not supermodels that are running the thoughtery. It's every girl. It's like a normal thing. So it's every girl. That look of surprise was on purpose. The idea is like, how dare you do this shit to me? And then for me, this one was me working out. But I kind of liked how if I cropped it just right, it kind of looked almost like me like damning the heavens. Like, God damn you, Jesus, why did you do this? So right there, you set a guy up for action and reaction, right? Girls mad, guys mad. You know it's my red meat videos. I hate fucking red meat, and so there it is. How dare you? Now, I didn't want her below me and above me. So I try to line up the eye levels on this, right? So it could almost mean like we're looking at each other. And by the way, I've told you guys on a tweet. Oh yeah, man. You'd be surprised how deliberate, and it's not just me. It's everybody. This is how the magic is made. This, by the way, was added in later because I had a problem with the cropping. These two arms and that kind of got in the way, so I added that pillar. So that way it looked a little more natural. But that sometimes you just have to judge things by if it looks uncomfortable to you, there's a tension there you probably should get rid of. So I thought, well, I got that. I got that. Oops. God damn it. And I got the coffee. I played around with all kinds of different things. You want to do what's called comprehensive, right? So for a comprehensive, you'll take this and you'll make 30 copies of it. Just copy paste, make them in a row. And then you'll fiddle with things. Maybe one, I'll put the logo here. Maybe I'll put the logo in front. Maybe I'll try it where the logo is down below. And you just kind of at a glance, looking at all of them, which ones grab your eye quickest. The idea is it's like a Rorschach test. You don't want to think about it too hard. Just trust your instincts on what looks aesthetic and what doesn't look aesthetic. Same as like a musician. Just play that note. Does that sound right? All right, that sounds right. In my case, the visual was so stunning, I actually preferred the text in behind. Now, oh geez, I can't remember where I had it originally set, but the way it was originally set, everything was so muddled out. I'm like, fuck, nobody's going to be able to see this. And so I added a single O, made it come in front, which kind of goes weird too. It's going to create something called tension. So when you're looking at this, you kind of have like a visual in your head of how things are spaced. Who's in front of what, who's behind what. The simple rules for that is things that are bigger, your brain will process as closer to you than things that are smaller. Things that are lighter are perceived as closer to you than things that are darker. Things that are higher are perceived as further away than things that are lower. 3 separate rules, right? That's why if I make me lower than her, it's going to look like I'm closer, which doesn't make sense because she's staring straight ahead. If I made myself up like this, it'll be higher, still wouldn't work. So I make it even. Both of us, same size, good enough. You put the logo in the back, so you assume it's further back. But then when I throw this, when I throw this here and I put it in front, it fucks with your mind just a little bit. And it's subtle. You'll never pick up on it. In the same way that, you know, when you guys are listening to a song on the radio and you can kind of, and you've never heard the song before, but it's like a top 40 hit. It's very easy to get along with and you can kind of hum it and you kind of know where the notes are going and you can kind of hum along with even if you don't know it. And it's kind of like how you don't know the words. So you just kind of sing words that sort of make sense. Your brain does that visually. So when I add something like that, that changes it, like that's supposed to be in behind, but it's over here, it's in front. Your brain creates a tension. You don't know what it is, but it just feels a little bit uncomfortable. Same as when you listen to a song and then the note goes a different direction you thought it would be. You're like, oh, that's weird. Split second thing. The program is called Inkscape. Apparently it's not okay for oh, Jesus Christ. You guys are bitching about the Batman and Robin thing? I mean, it's Batman, fuck him. But little tensions like that, and that's the same way, like if I did contrasting colors, it would work too. But you just pick your contrasts. And then I got that by itself. So you got the logo, the brand. So you know this is a Red Pilled Coffee episode. Even if you didn't know, if you just saw this in a sea of thumbnails, if you're a fan of the channel, you're going to see that Red Pilled Coffee logo that's in all the Red Pilled Coffee videos, and you'll be like, that's the one I want to watch. Awesome. But if you don't have that, you have eyes, female body, big red tits, you know, counterplay, and then you got your focal points. It's straight left to right here. Nothing fancy at all. And at this point, I'm like, okay, this is a very cluttered composition. And I tried where I like made it smaller. You know, nothing was in the way. The problem is then now it just looks fucking, it still looks cluttered because the background's cluttered, but then I can get rid of this, but then you got just some weird shit there. So I'm like, if we're going to go cluttered, let's just own it. Let's just own it. Add a subtitle. Again, it's a contrast. So now that's going to take your focal point from just that to the standard Z. So I'm like, it can work. Originally, I had the early frame announcement in here, but I'm like, this is just too much. So I made a decision, just do it with the small ones. Now you put this one in the sea of things. Obviously the same, you notice I did the same thing here. Eye level, perfectly straight. The idea is they go left to right. I ended up putting text in front of Rich in this example, which, again, it's a different choice than this one. A lot of it's just experimenting, so whatever. But I believe I had her in front of it all. But this one is good because then it lets you know, okay, Rich isn't in this one. It's somebody talking about Rich. And this is like the cheeky shit posty part of me here. The Emily chick here, I put it like small like this, like the little devil on your shoulder. That's kind of, again, you probably don't even think about it that way, but you just think a little knittering thing in your shoulder. And that's like my subtle way of letting guys know when you watch this video, you're going to watch some little nerdy chick running her mouth. Meanwhile, the guy sitting in his car trying to get shit done. Kind of despondent looking, right? Jesus Christ, boys. I think on this one, though, I had, like, I don't have the original thing to it anymore, but I had something bigger here. Just simple. Thought, bitching about him, and the topic. So when you click this video, you know what you're in for. You see the logo here, so if you don't know what it is in a sea of other videos, you know what to go for. So that's kind of how thumbnails work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I am going to go take that thumbnail we just made now. Oh, yeah. And I always have a picture of Stedman and the ostrich, just in case. Just in case. But I did that on this one, too, where the hell did everything go? Oh, let's put everything back. I don't know. I was looking at this. I'm like, there's got to be something else that I could do. And I can remember there was a picture of her that was sitting on a boat. I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of neat. And just as like an Easter egg for you guys. Like, again, the little devil and angel, like the little devil on your shoulder. I'm like, perfect. She's even dressed like red. And I'm like, what can I do with this? And just, fuck, whatever. Grab Stedman's head as if she's dragging it somewhere. You have no idea where she's dragging it. It doesn't even matter. It's just a little curiosity that somebody who actually takes a second to look at this thumbnail will miss it. But it'll be like, what the hell was that? That was weird. And then you look at it again, you're like, oh, shit. Is that Stedman? Oh, there's a subtext. Like, you know what I mean? Something to add some additional looks. It's a curiosity thing. That's essentially a sophisticated way of adding, like, the circle on a detail with a question mark. Like, wait, what is that? Because I know everybody's looked at I've looked at those thumbnails where they're like, 7 mistakes in the MCU that'll surprise you. And there's a circle over some weird detail. And you look at it for a second. You're like, what the hell is it? And then I realized most of these guys, there actually is nothing wrong with it. They're just doing that to get you to look. Anyways, the ostrich didn't make the cut. The Illuminati didn't make the cut. The main title didn't make the cut. But the subtitle made the cut. And then there's your composition. So it was kind of neat. Sad Petman. So yeah, I thought, what the hey? Some way to talk about the videos. All right, I'm not going to save that. And so that's how you can make a video, a thumbnail. Now, there's a whole bunch of different techniques. I would argue, don't listen to most YouTube tutorials on this stuff, because most guys who make tutorials for YouTube are absolutely horrific. Like, they all do the same thing. They'll put... And you're going to notice this, like Mr. Obvious, Tim Pool, all them. They put a face here, and then a big thing of, like, text here. Oh my god, something bad. They'll make it a giant fucking thing. They'll put it in red, again, big red tits. They make the background like this. And they always make that same, like, giant stroked, like, green or something, just fucking horrid like this, because it'll grab your attention in the same way that getting punched in the face will get your full attention. Ooh, I use Crayola sometimes. Stedman is the gift that keeps on giving. Hilariously cringe. Oh, I 100% agree. 100% agree. I have to be very careful, though. Like, I'm playful with it. I don't mean the guy any ill will. I just find it's good for a laugh, so I don't want it to come across as bullying. So if you guys want to do, like, a commentary channel, Tim Pool thumbnail, that's all you have to do. Oh my god, something bad. Picture of a face staring back at you. Done. That's how most people create YouTube thumbnails. Now, it technically has all the composition elements I just talked about. Like, you'll have face, text. But it's so fucking ugly. It actually hurts your eyes. Yeah, there's the surprised face. Dude, I hate that because, yeah, everybody always has to have that same, oh my god. Not bad with a mouse. But that's the problem because of fucking asshole MGTOW guys. You can't make that face online anymore if you're doing videos for guys, because the first thing they'll think is you're soy. It's like, dude, when I was cooking Asian food and I was using soy sauce, I started getting grief on that. I'm like, fucking space. But that's the problem, is that this kind of thing is very attention grabbing, but at the same time, it's not the right attention. So if you had to do one of these in the sphere, in like the red pill in that, I would strongly suggest you one of those other like face-off intense ones, the ones where it's like half the picture. And you're sitting there smugly looking at the camera. Jesus, that's bad. I wish the tablet was working. I would suggest doing those. Anyways, I'm going to shut this off now, and I am going to go set up the second video. I'm going to put a link up on here. You guys come on in, check it out. It'll be a lot of fun. If you're watching this after the fact, don't worry about it. Oh yeah, I have to turn this off before I can start the next one. Son of a bitch. If I was smart, I would have made the fucking video before I even started, but I'm using the actual thumbnail we made there. So here's what we're going to do. I'll put a link to the channel. 17 of them. They're in the live chat. I'll throw in the description too. And let's switch over to that and have some fun. It's just going to be a boring day. I'm just going to work on some logistics. But I think I was going to have some fun chatting about the fun and interesting shit on Twitter. And then you guys are going to bring up whatever you want, like giraffes or whatever shit you have. Anyways, I'll see you guys there in just a second. Yeah, damn right I'm spamming it. Actually, you know what? Let me double check, make sure I didn't miss anything cool in the chat. Oh, yeah, Song Ho Khan. Yeah, I used to be a graphic designer. So when I graduated from high school, I decided to rebel against the family, not drink, do drugs, instead go to college. And that my parents didn't really offer any direction or anything like that. So it was just, all I got was that whole do what you dream. And I was like, oh, graphic design. I'm good at graphic design. I was anyway. But it just sucked as a profession. And so I left to join the military by the time, like 23. So I only did it for like 3 years. It was a waste of time. But I can blather on about art history like you wouldn't believe. All right, I actually think you got a nice theming with the neon light colors, allow your thumbnails to jump out instead of basic colors from everyone else. Thank you, man. That's actually something I was thinking about too, because like Minecraft is a huge thing. It's the biggest game in the world, so it's got a giant pre-set audience to it, unlike the Sphere, which is horribly niche. But everybody does the same thing, so I'm like, how can I make it different? And like I said, I jumped onto the 80s nostalgia train like everybody else. And so I like the idea of making it neon. You'll see in the videos I edit too, I'm going to start making it look very unique. So it's going to be something just for entertainment value. It's going to be totally different than what you're used to seeing. And then I'm hoping that that creates a good enough differentiation that it can draw more attention to it. Because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I love talking about relationships and sex and red pill. But if I can make a living just making fucking Minecraft videos, I will ditch you guys in a heart. I will ditch all this shit in a heartbeat. I am not going to lie to you. The Sphere has been, I have met some of the worst, and I'm raised in a redneck town that had cocaine ravage the community. And I have by far met way worse people by being online in the Sphere than I ever have from a cocaine redneck town. So I'll just leave that there. Who's Stedman? Oh, you don't know. Okay, Pat Stedman, intern Mountain Aikido. Pat Stedman is a guy who was in the Sphere. Like, he's just one of those guys that just standard Twitter thing. Talks about advice, sign up to my newsletter, sign up to my masterclass on being a man. Tapping into guys' insecurities to sell them stuff. Good for him. Lives with his parents. He did pick up for like a year, but then he met a Polish girl, and when he was traveling, and married her. They just had a kid. And then part of it is stupid because he just talks about feelings, and like if you ever watched that video with Rolo and I, we were making fun of that podcast with the dude with the top knot and the transgender dude talking about being a man, which laughable on his face. That's the kind of shit that Stedman's into. He likes talking about Illuminati and that too. Anyways, so the joke was he's talking about how he's so much better than us. He's been shit talking and posting about us for like 3 years. He had a kid, 6 months old. He's about to move to Poland with her, start up a whole new life, live the trad life, because the Ukraine and Poland is where real men are now. Then did that 6th of January political Trump thing. Got arrested. Got his visa pulled, his passport rescinded for the court case and that. Basically fucked over his life with his brand new kid. For no reason. It's like, dude, you're an expat. You're about to leave. Why the hell did you join this shit? And then he live streamed the whole thing. So it was just... And it was funny because so many brands started like, well, at least he's doing something. I'm like, yeah, he was doing something. He was moving to a different country with his family and just fucked it over because he wanted to give you guys views. So now I kind of find some joy in this, how he's been calling me like a low IQ asshole, but I don't have the criminal record. So I'm just going to have fun with it. Plus, he's got that goofy video of why I love women, and I just love taking clips to that to add it to stuff. That was like, that's my MCU Easter egg stuff. All right.
Actually, soy sauce is fermented, so it doesn't have the phytoester. I know that, Jeek. I absolutely know that, and that's my response to it. It's like it's fermented, so it doesn't have that same issue. Picasso for the win. Yeah, well, it's just shitty mouse drawing skills. Usually my skin crawls with folks like Stedman, but he's just so up his own ass, I have to laugh. That makes me wonder, too, like, how many guys follow him, and how many guys, like, follow him as a lol cow. But, I mean, whatever. At this point, I'm just in it for the humor. And whatever, if they're gonna laugh at themselves, why can't I join in? Alright. Anyways, second channel starting. I'll see you guys there. Probably 5 minutes to set this all up. Have fun.